Hello everybody, hello and welcome back to the Slip Ginge channel. My name is Jack, I'm a musician, I'm a sound engineer, archivist. I do lots of really nerdy stuff. But I am from the southeast of England, living in the northeast-ish. I have a lot of updates for you today. It's been about 5 months since my last podcast, which is quite frankly terrible. And there's a lot of things to update you on. First of all, this room. You may recognise this room, those eagle-eyed amongst you, but this is actually the Back to Blighty podcast room. Back to Blighty is my mum, Becky, who is another podcaster here on YouTube. And this was actually my old bedroom. And now it's become my bedroom again because I have taken the decision to move from the northeast back down to Sussex, where I grew up. It's important to note that this is temporary. I'm not here permanently. This is just a bit of a stopgap while I get back on my feet down here. But so much has changed and I got to the point where I realised that actually the northeast wasn't really the place for me to be anymore. Those of you that have been following this channel for some time will recognise this room. This is my old room and this is what it's like now. All of my stuff has gone out of that room and is in storage for now. And as I moved down and I came back down here on the trains, I was very limited to what I could bring, bearing in mind that I needed to bring clothes, I needed to bring yarn, obviously, but also work stuff, which includes instruments, recording equipment, stuff that I use for work all the time. So I've been quite limited on what I can bring down, but I have enough to share with you in this podcast today. Right, we have a bit of admin before we start. Those of you that have been following this channel will remember Jen, who is Chonky Stitches, who is another podcaster here on YouTube, who does knitting, crochet, all that sort of yarny goodness. And we have taken the decision mutually to go our separate ways. There's no animosity there, but we just decided that it wasn't for us. That's all there is to it. Thank you to everybody that's asked how we are and where we've been, but yeah. Jen has spoken about it on her podcast as well, and I wish her all the best with all of her podcasting and her work and everything else that she's been doing. So, yeah, but you can stop asking now. Thank you for your concerns, but yeah, that's just the way it is now. And that does mean that obviously the Our Little Universe joint channel has gone. Thank you to everybody that supported our adventures on that channel. It was great fun working on that project, but now it's not needed. We don't use that, obviously. So yeah. Anyway, enough about all of that. What else has happened recently? Yes, I had a wonderful time meeting up with two friends. They came over from North America, and they came over and we had a lovely couple of days with them. And that was the wonderful Ali in sweatpants and her partner Chris. You guys, I'm sure you'll be watching this. You're amazing. I love you both so much. You're great. And I can't wait to see you again. Maybe I need to plan a trip to the States. I'm not sure. We'll sort something out. But it was so lovely meeting them properly in person and spending time with them. We got to go over to Whistlebear. Here are some goat pictures. We were very fortunate to go and visit them on a day that they weren't open and go and meet the people who work at Whistlebear, meet the animals, and also play and squish with some amazing yarn. So if you're in the northeast or up in Northumberland, be it visiting or whatever, get in touch with Whistlebear. And also, let's mute my emails, there we go. But also do subscribe to their newsletter because there's so much great goat content. It's brilliant. Go and check that out. Okay, I think we can now start the podcast. I have a coffee. I hope you have a beverage of your preference with you. Perfect. Let's start with what I'm wearing. I am wearing my Azure sweater. This pattern is by Orlane Such, and I knitted this in Rowan felted tweed in the colourways Seafarer and Ginger. It's got a lovely yoke design on it. It's very drapey fabric. It took me a long time to do, many years, but I finished it. This was my first ever garment that I've made. and it's great. I wouldn't make another one, I don't think. And I learned a lot about construction and design and shaping in the process of this. I think this was also my first proper colour work project. So I learned a lot about stranded knitting, tension, and everything else. So this was a massive learning curve for me. I would recommend the pattern if you're after a boxy, lightweight sort of jumper. And I love the design. I'm really glad that I picked these colours, and it's not a massively cold day here, but it's keeping me warm with just a t-shirt underneath. I might pick up the stitches around the neck and make it a bit more, maybe. I don't know. I love it the way it is. It's a bit of a workhorse. I wear this every day. And yeah, it's great. Okay, so we will begin with finished objects. Now, I don't think I really have any. Oh no, I do have one. I'll go and get it. Where did I put it? Where did I put it? Here we are. This is the only finished project I have with me. Again, I had to bring things down from Newcastle on a train with a guitar and a mandolin and other instruments. It's been a bit of a nightmare. This is one of my many Jason's Cashmere hats. For me, there's something about this pattern and just the finished objects and the fabric. It's amazing. I knitted this in the Croft. I can't remember what the colourway was, but I'll put it on screen now. There we go, more work for me later. This is 100% Shetland wool, and it is amazing. It still smells so sheepy, and they've just got so much squish to them. And I feel like there's a lot of hat patterns that just... There's a reason why this is one of the most popular hat patterns on Ravelry. It's a free pattern. I recommend it to everyone who wants to learn cables or get a basic idea of shaping. And I'm definitely going to make more of these. Whether I make Jason's Cashmere hats actually or not, I don't know. But I need to make some more hats because hats are great. And this one is a staple. So it's got lovely cables, and the decrease on it as well is very minimalistic, which I quite like. So yes, there we go, one finished object for you. So now we're going to move on to whips, our lovely works in progress. I have 3 today. There are more up north still, which I really need to get sorted, but I have 3 with me today. The first of which, actually I'm going to check my notes here. Yes, so the first of which is some socks. Now, these socks are in a hide and hammer bag. This was actually a gift from my mum because she found she wasn't using it as much, so I claimed it. But in here, I just have a simple vanilla sock, slightly festive knitting, I can't lie to you. I've made the first one. This is just a vanilla sock with the schematics for my feet, generally 64 stitches. I use a 2x2 rib, German short row heel, and I also do the decrease from the Hermione Everyday socks. I find the wedge toes a bit angular. I don't really like it. I don't find it very comfortable, whereas this one has just a little bit of shaping in there. So this yarn is from Beehive Yarns. It is the colourway Snowberries on their Audrey base, and it's an incredibly soft merino nylon blend. And it's very, very festive. So I have one finished sock, but I have just turned the heel on sock number 2. I work socks top down. I find it so much easier. I don't like casting on at the toe, really. It's more hassle than it's worth for me. This will be finished in probably a few days, knowing me. And I've still got plenty of yarn left over. So I'm looking forward to getting them done, getting them blocked, and having some more woolly socks to wear now that the weather's starting to get cooler. I'm mainly working on these in bed, to be honest with you. Generally before I go to bed, but yeah. Now I've been working on these a lot more because I've run out of yarn for the project I'm about to show you. Don't worry, I have ordered more. There is no need to fret. But some of you will remember the beasts that I am working on. This is a massive project. It's the biggest project I've ever undertaken. I love it, and I've done a lot since I last saw you. But those of you that remember will know that I've been working on the Yule sweater by Susan Crawford. This is a full colourwork jumper, and this is how far I've gotten so far. Here we are. It's quite a big project. Lots of intricate colourwork in there, and it's been a bit of a pain, this project. Don't get me wrong, I love it. I think that it's going to be a beautiful pattern. I changed the colours because I didn't want a super Christmassy jumper. I wanted something I could wear with tweed jackets or normal jackets, and something that was a bit more autumnal / springy, just more natural colours. So I swapped out quite a few of the colours, and I have now, thanks to sheer determination, got past, where are they? There they are. I am now steeking above the arms. So I have about 30 to 35 rounds left before I do the collar. So I've really not got much to go now, but I have ordered some more yarn direct from Jameson's, and that should be arriving in the next few days, which means I can carry on working on this jumper. If I get it done before Christmas, oh, that would be amazing. But I know Mum has been making the same jumper, and it's taken her years, so we'll see. The rate I'm knitting at the minute, this should get done. I've been pretty good at sewing in my ends, but I still have quite a lot to do. So I might actually do that a bit while I'm waiting for this video to render and export. One of the problems I've been having with that pattern, however, is that I didn't want it to be cropped. I wanted it to be fitted across my chest and everything, but I didn't want it to be cropped. And to change that, I had to completely rewrite the bottom half of the pattern by taking things, moving them around, and almost making the entire jumper modular to try and get it to flow seamlessly. And then when it came to preparing the steeks and the armholes, the pattern for my sizing isn't correct, unfortunately. Luckily, my mum was there on hand, but we had to do a lot of reworking and rechart placementing to try and get that to work, which was a bit of a nightmare, but we have done it. We've done the maths. We managed to figure out a way of doing it, and I can't wait to get that project done. I'm not sure about what collar I'm going to do. The original is a turtleneck kind of thing, but I'm thinking of doing a sewn-in collar. I'm not sure yet, but I love it. It's incredibly warm, and it's going to be an amazing project to have finished. A bit of a showpiece, I think. If you're interested in all the colourways that I've been using, they are up here. Pause it, look at it, take a screenshot, photo, whatever. Okay. And I'm really happy with the colour choices. They have since renamed some of the colours since I last ordered yarn from them. So I've had to be a bit careful with the codes and everything else to make sure that I get the correct yarn. But they're on their way, and I can't wait. Whip number 3, it isn't knitting. Because, and this is going to lead me very nicely into my acquisitions, but I have been learning how to drop spindle. And since doing it, I've learned so much about staple lengths and the process of working with raw fibre or processed fibre to then get yarn. I'm not very good, but this is what I've got so far. This is a beautiful fibre. This is from John Arbon Textiles. It's one of their tops, and it is 100% Falkland Corriedale on their Yarnadelic base. There we go, that's why it's so good. In the colourway Galetta Guitar. There we are. This stuff is amazing. I'll get the floof out for you. But look at this. Oh. So it's got an incredibly long staple length, which makes it much easier for spinning as a beginner. And, oh, I love it. There's so much here. Well, there's 100 grams. And I'm really looking... I find it really therapeutic. It's incredibly lumpy. It's not going to be that great a spin because I'm learning how it works. And those of you that have done drop spindling will know that it's a bit of a faff when you learn. So I'm looking forward to learning more with that. I can't remember where these spindles are from, but they have music on the bottom. I have another one here of my first attempt at spinning. So I've got a heavier one and a lighter one. One for working the plies individually and one for plying them together. There we go. Right, now this leads me even more swiftly into acquisitions. I have got some more FLOOF to show you. And this is quite a nice one. I like this one. This is again from John Arbon Textiles, but this is their Devonia top. And it is 50% Exmoor Blueface, 30% Blueface Leicester, and 20% Wensleydale. It's in the colourway Sandbar. There you go, take a screenshot if you want. And this is a much more earthy sort of colourway with browns, greys, and a lovely... It's not a lime green, it's darker than that. It's more yellowy, but isn't that amazing? I just want to bathe in it. It's a very different sheepy smell to what the 100% Falkland Corriedale is, and it's a slightly shorter staple length, so I'm going to work on this next. But first we need to get that yarn spun up and get knitting with it. So, more acquisitions. Since I'm going to be finishing my vanilla sock realistically over the next couple of days, I needed some more sock yarn. So those 2 bags of FLOOF came from Mum. Thank you very much, Mum, for those. But she also got me West Yorkshire Spinners Signature Fork Ply. This stuff, everybody needs to work with it if you're making socks. It's really, really nice. It's just such a staple. So it's 75% wool, 25% nylon, but 35% of that wool is Blueface Leicester. And this is in the colourway Owl, which is like the Mallard, but much more muted, much more tonal. And I'm really looking forward to seeing how this knits up. So these are going to be a pair or 2 of just vanilla socks. I just wanted something vanilla, nice and simple to work on. So, working on them soon. Thank you, Mum. Now, I didn't know that I was going to be gifted those 2 bags of FLOOF and a skein of yarn, so I did bring some wool with me. We're going to go through them now, because at the minute, this is my new stash. First of all, I have got 3 skeins of John Arbon, again, and their Exmoor sock. These are 4-ply, I think they're 100... Oh no, here we go. 60% Exmoor Blueface, 20% Corriedale, 10% Zwartballs, and 10% nylon. They're 50-gram skeins, and they are brilliant. So I have these 3 colourways. This one is Odd Me Dodd, I believe, which is the Devonshire term for a snail, I think. Good name. We also have Mizzle on here, which is the grey. And then finally we have Hemsel. That was it. So I'm thinking about making a colourwork festive pair of socks through December with these 2 and saving this for something else. But I have a pattern in mind, but I'm not going to commit yet. But they are with me. I did also bring my 2 skeins of yarn from the wool shop Propagandzi, which is in Whitby in the northeast of England. I made the Love Autumn cowls out of these. There are no colourways, there are no labels, but they are 100% wool. Oh, they're beautiful. I think they're DK to worsted weight, and they just work so well together. So I thought I'll bring them, maybe make another cowl, hats, shawl. Oh, that could be good. So yeah, great yarn. I've never been to that shop in particular, but I recommend that you go. What else have I brought with me? So quite recently, well, I say quite recently, a few months ago, I went to Loop London, which is an amazing shop, but I will say this, it is quite expensive. It's not the most accessible of yarn shops at all. But while I was in there, I wanted to get something I couldn't really get anywhere else. So I got 2 skeins of Labby NMA Corrie worsted. This is 75% Falkland Corriedale and 25% Gotland wool in the colourway Rust and Olive Juice. So again, very earthy colours. This Rust colour is incredible. But I'm thinking, again, what do I do with 2 skeins of worsted yarn for colour work? If people want to suggest patterns, let me know, or send them to me on Ravelry. That's another good way of doing things. I love this yarn. This is great. And I can't wait to work with this yarn. And last but not least, the final skein that I have with me is a yarn I've never worked with before, but it's West Yorkshire Spinners Croft, but this is their Roving Arran, or Arran Roving base, in the colourway Rolling Hills. So this is 100% Shetland wool, and this is the yarn. It's a much looser spin than what West Yorkshire Spinners normally is, but it is incredibly woolly, incredibly sheepy, and I really, really want to work with this. Again, I don't know what to make with it. I can't really do cabled stuff because the stitch definition won't be there because it's a roving spin. So yeah, all of this stuff that I'm now having to think about now that I'm spinning yarn, it's so much more complicated. But yeah, really looking forward to working with this. You can't find this very often where I'm from. I don't sell it everywhere. So yeah, give me project ideas for all of this stuff, please. Okay, so that is the yarny stuff. Lots of yarny stuff going on. I've had a few questions. One of which is, am I doing Vlogmas this year? Now, I've been umming and ahhing about it because I'm living in a household with another fibre podcaster doing Vlogmas. But yes, I will be doing Vlogmas. I will be aiming to do it every day. And I have some fun things planned, some of which are on my own, some of which are with my mum. I've got quite a lot of stuff to keep me busy with music and research and everything else. So yeah, I will be doing that. It will be on this channel, so do keep an eye out. And I'm sorry that it's been such a long time since I've done a podcast, and I don't really have much to show for it apart from an almost finished Ferrari jumper. It's been really nice actually coming back and sitting down. I'm a bit out of touch, I can't lie to you, but now that I'm back on it, we're getting back on top of things, there's going to be a lot more content. So what I will do is I will say goodbye for now. I will see you on the technically 2nd of December because Vlogmas. Maybe I'll start the day before, who knows. But I will leave you there. I hope that you've enjoyed this quite short podcast, and I will see you next time for Vlogmas. So happy knitting, keep spinning, weaving, dyeing, knitting, crocheting, whatever it is you're doing, and I will see you next time. Thank you very much. Take care. See you soon. Hated that. Absolutely hated that.